Hi everybody, Donna Salazar here for Gel Press, and I have a video for you showing how to get fun grungy layers on your gel press prints. And I'm going to show you how I made this project. So this is the first print that I'm doing, and it's actually not the print that's on the project, but I wanted to show you how I get lots of grungy layers in my prints. And you'll notice that I had a lot of paint dried around the edges, and that's what I want to like pull up on these prints. So I put some layers of paint down and I'm getting some texture on there, and some people right now would go ahead and pull a print, but I want to have lots of texture and lots of layers. So I'm actually not going to pull a print, and you'll see that I put down like several layers of paint before I actually pull a print from my plate. So now I'm going to add some more paint, and I like to actually even mix my colors right on the plate. And this is going to give like a very, very faint ghost image of the puzzle plate. And it pulls up some of the texture around the corners. And I like to really press the paper that I'm using to pull the print into the plate until I can see that there's all of the moisture is like showing on the actual paper. And you can see it pulled a lot of the grungy bits that were around the edge, and you can just barely see a little bit of a ghost image. And that wasn't on purpose. I wanted it to show a little bit more, but I like the effect anyway. And look at that. I love all of that texture. Now I'm going to use the puzzle plate, and this is the image that is actually on the project. And I had a lot of texture on the plate already, so all I did was just add a layer of paint, and that is going to give me the print that I wanted. And you can see how the paper texture changes, and once it changes and I can see pretty much the plate behind it, that's when I'll go ahead and I'll pull the print up. And it had a lot of texture and goodness on there. Now I'm going to do another image with the puzzle plate. And this is going to be kind of the ghost image that's behind the main print. So I'm going to add it to my paper. And again, I rub until I can see pretty much the image or the outline of the plate before I pull the print. And that is what the image looked like. And now I'm going to do the actual print that is the background, but I'm going to go over that puzzle image that I just pulled a second ago. And I like to add lots of texture, and you'll notice all of the colors are blending off to the side. And I use all types of different texture mediums. So that was actually an embossing folder for die cutting. And then I use stencils, and you'll notice I went right over that. I did not pull the print there. And now I'll pull the print over the image. And it's going to give me a lot of that texture from the edge this time. that texture. I love all of that texture. It looks so grungy but beautiful at the same time. So now I'm going to outline the ghost image of the puzzle plate, and you'll see off to the side that I cut out the first puzzle image that I pulled. And the first time that I outline, I kind of stay close to the edges, but the second time that I go around, I start getting wonky and I try to make the outline look kind of grungy, really loose and free. And it is going to be the shadow behind the puzzle image that I pulled because it's going to be adhered over it. And now I'm going to outline the puzzle image, and I'm just using a Sharpie around the edges, and it just barely touches the edge of the print. So it gives you a very super faint outline. You could do it with inks, but honestly, this way is much faster. And it's a lot easier to get into the small grooves on the inside when you're just using a pen. And now I'm going to adhere it to the print. And I'm just having it up and to the left a little bit so that it looks like a shadow. And then I have these different quotes for autism because the puzzle image is representative of autism. So I chose the quote, and I'm cutting it out into little strips, and I'm going to add some adhesive to the back. And now I'm going to add a little bit of ink around the edges, and since these are straight edges, it's super easy to add a little bit of ink around the sides. So I don't need to use a pen for this. So I just want to kind of make it easy to see it against that background, so it's a very, very thin inked edge. And then once I have all of the edges inked, then I'm going to add a little bit of adhesive to the back of these, and I'm going to adhere it to the print, and I just barely touch one side of it down just in case I don't like the placement, and I actually didn't like the placement, and so I was able to move it. I wanted it to be down just a little bit farther, so I was able to just move them down. And the quote says, "Autism is a journey we didn't plan, but we sure do love our tour guide." And this is the finished project once I put it into a frame. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you again next time. Bye.